Welcome to the Netherlands, to the land of canals, of bicycles, of tulips. By rights, the Netherlands should not exist at all. They were wrested from the ocean, piece by piece. Between mighty dikes, endless tulip fields, and historic cities unfolds a story of courage, ingenuity, and beauty. This story lives in canals and windmills, in forests and dunes, in cities that have defied the water for centuries. Join us today on a journey through the land of tulips. The Netherlands lie on the northwestern edge of the European mainland. Their neighbours, Germany to the east, Belgium to the south, and the North Sea to the north and west. Small in area, yet home to more than 17 million people, the country feels carefully ordered rather than overcrowded. What the Netherlands lack in size, they make up for in influence. Vast greenhouses stretch across the landscape. Flower auctions move millions of blooms through the country every single day. The Netherlands are the world's second largest exporter of food and agricultural produce. The flower industry alone supplies around 80% of all cut flowers traded worldwide. And then there is the water. A network of dikes, pumping stations and canals, refined over more than 1,000 years, keeps large parts of the country dry. Without this network, a considerable share of what you are about to see would simply not be here. Add to that a cultural heritage far greater than its borders would suggest. Rembrandt, Vermeer, Van Gogh. The golden age of the 17th century turned this small nation into one of the most powerful in the world, and left its mark to this day on the stone and the light of every city. But more on that later. Let us dive straight in. We begin in the west, in a city that conceals more than it reveals. The Hague is the seat of the Dutch government, yet there is little political clamour to be felt here. Instead, broad avenues, dignified brick buildings, and the quiet self-assurance of a place that has carried decisions of weight for centuries. At the heart of the city lies the Binnenhof, a complex of towers and halls around a still pond, whose oldest walls reach back to the 13th century. Here Parliament convenes. Here the country has been governed for generations. And just a few steps away, in the Maurits House, hang some of the most famous paintings in the world. Foremost among them, Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring, who gazes out at visitors from a small, half-darkened room, as if time had stood still. But The Hague is also the country's only major city directly on the sea. In the district of Scheveningen, the fine sandy coast runs out into a long pier, and the salty air of the North Sea drifts deep into the streets. In summer, strollers crowd the promenade. In winter, the wind whips across the empty beach, a contrast that captures the city perfectly. Just a stone's throw further, nestled between The Hague and Rotterdam, lies a city straight out of an old painting. Delft is small, almost dreamlike, and yet this place has shaped the history of art forever. It is the canals that set the tone here, lined with linden trees, spanned by narrow bridges, mirrored in still water. Through these very lanes once wandered Johannes Vermeer, who was born here and devoted his entire body of work to the light of his hometown. Whoever walks through Delft in the early morning, when the sun falls low across the rooftops, understands at once where this painter drew his inspiration. To this day, the city lives for its famous craft. Delft blue, that blue and white porcelain painted by hand in the workshops, just as it was 400 years ago. Above the market square, however, towers the Nieuwe Kerk, in whose crypt rests William of Orange, the father of the Dutch nation. Keep that name in the back of your mind, for at the end of our journey we will meet him again in a most unexpected place. Whoever strolls through Delft soon senses why this city is so beloved. It is the perfect blend of grand history and small scale. Students cycle across the bridges, market stalls fill the square before the church on the right days, and over it all lies that unhurried serenity which Vermeer once captured on his canvases. And then, only a short train ride away, everything changes. Where Delft whispers, Rotterdam shouts. This city knows no dreamy gables and no old cobblestones. It is a bold manifesto of glass, steel and concrete. The reason lies in a dark chapter of history. In May 1940, a German bombing raid wiped out the medieval centre almost entirely within minutes. In rebuilding, Rotterdam deliberately chose against the past and in favour of the future. And so arose what is arguably the most modern skyline in the Netherlands, a playground for architects from all over the world. Almost every corner bears witness to this. The elegant Erasmus Bridge sweeps over the Maas like a sail. The tilted cube houses seem to mock the laws of gravity. And in the immense Markttal, a vast, colourful work of art arches over the heads of the market goers. Even the railway station here is a sight in its own right. Above it all, however, reigns the harbour. For decades it was the largest in the world, and still today it stretches for kilometres inland, an endless field of cranes, containers and freighters that connects this patch of earth with the farthest corner of the globe. Anyone who truly wants to grasp the harbour should take a boat tour across the Maas. Only from the water does the sheer scale of this place reveal itself. Colossal container ships as long as skyscrapers, gigantic loading bridges in motion day and night, and behind them a skyline that climbs further into the sky with every passing year. Rotterdam is not a city you love at first sight, but one that quickly draws you under its spell with its energy. Let us now leave the big city and travel a short way east, to the place where humankind tamed the water. In Kinderdijk, 19 windmills stand in stoic formation along the canals, their sails turning in the wind since the 18th century. These mills are no romance for postcards. For centuries they were sheer necessity, for their task was to scoop the water out of the low-lying polderland and save it from drowning. Here you can see, quite literally, how the Netherlands wrested square metre after square metre from the sea. No wonder this ensemble is today a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Kinderdijk is at its most beautiful in the morning mist, or at the blue hour, when the silhouettes of the mills are mirrored, perfectly motionless in the water, and sky and earth merge into one. Here, humankind has tamed the water. Since we are on the subject of land reclamation, we must hop briefly to the northeast, to the country's youngest province. A 100 years ago, Flevoland simply did not exist. It lay entirely beneath the waves of the Zuider Zee. And in the midst of this artificial ground, something astonishing has happened. In the Oostvaardersplassen, an area originally intended for industry, nature reclaimed its space. Today the region is regarded as one of the most important nature reserves in Western Europe. Wild horses, deer, and vast flocks of birds populate a marshland barely 60 years old, and yet it feels as though it had lain here since the beginning of time. Back to the historic heart of the country, to a name almost everyone has probably uttered at some point, usually with a piece of cheese in hand. Gouda, the picturesque little town on the water, is far more than its famous export. Of course, much here revolves around the golden yellow wheel. At the traditional cheese market, enormous rounds still change hands today, the deal sealed with a firm handshake, just as it was centuries ago. But whoever lifts their gaze discovers a beautiful old town, a playful Gothic town hall in the middle of the market square, and the mighty Sint Janskerk, whose famous stained glass windows rank among the finest in all of Europe. Incidentally, Gouda has given the world a second delicacy, the stroopwafel, that thin waffle with a liquid syrup core, invented here in the 18th century. A small, sticky piece of the Dutch soul. There is a stretch of land in the Netherlands that transforms, for barely 8 weeks a year, into perhaps the most colourful spectacle in Europe. We speak of the Bollenstreek around the little town of Lisse, the heart of Dutch flower cultivation. As soon as spring arrives, the endless fields virtually explode into colour. Stripes of red, yellow, violet and pure white run to the horizon, planted dead straight and so precisely that, from above, the landscape looks like a vast painting. It is hard to believe that these innocent blooms triggered one of history's first speculative bubbles in the 17th century. Back then, a single tulip bulb was, for a time, worth more than a house on the canal. It is at the Bloemen Corso in particular that the beauty of this region shows its most colourful side. Artfully decorated floats, covered with millions of blossoms, parade through the streets and turn the region into a living sea of flowers. The elaborately crafted figures, the creative artistry, and the festive atmosphere make this time-honoured procession an unforgettable experience and one of the loveliest spring events in the country. The centrepiece of this season is the world-famous Keukenhof, one of the largest flower parks on Earth. Across an immense area, around 7 million bulbs bloom here each spring, every single one planted by hand the previous autumn. Whoever has once strolled through this sea of scent and colour carries the image with them forever. But the park opens only a few weeks a year. Here, timing is everything. Just north of the flower fields lies Haarlem, a city that often stands in the shadow of its big sister Amsterdam, entirely undeservedly. Here you will find the same beauty of canals and gables, only more relaxed, quieter, and without the crush of the capital. At its centre lies the wide Grote Markt, dominated by the mighty Sint Baverkerk, inside which stands one of the most famous organs in the world, played even by the young Mozart. Around the square, cosy cafes and narrow lanes invite you to linger, without anyone urging you to hurry. And whoever wants to hear the sea is there in no time. Just a few kilometres to the west, Zandvoort winds through the dunes, the region's local beach and, at the same time, home to a legendary racetrack on which Formula One once again turns its laps. It is this clever location between sea, flower fields and capital that made the city so prosperous over the centuries. Some cities you simply have to experience. Amsterdam is one of them, and it is best to begin where the city is at its most beautiful, on the water. From the boat you glide through a network of canals, past narrow merchant houses leaning slightly forward, their reflections dancing in the dark water. This famous ring of canals is no accident. It was planned on the drawing board in the 17th century, in that golden age when Amsterdam was the richest trading city in the world and sent its ships from here all the way to Asia. Entire streets, plots and facades were laid down back then, a city that did not grow, but was designed. Today, this unique ensemble is, of course, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was precisely this strict planning that created the unmistakable harmony for which Amsterdam is world famous. Narrow, tall houses crowd along the canals, many leaning slightly forward so that furniture and goods could once be hoisted up the facade into the upper floors with ease. Above the gables, lifting hooks jut into the sky, and the typical houseboats bob on the water directly below, a city in which every square metre, wet or dry, is put to use. Yet Amsterdam is also a city of world-class museums. In the Rijksmuseum, visitors stop dead before Rembrandt's monumental Night Watch. In the Van Gogh Museum, which houses the largest collection of the painter anywhere, the sunflowers glow so intensely that no reproduction could ever do them justice. And at the edge of the city centre, the Anne Frank House serves as an oppressive reminder that this city also lived through the darkest hours of the 20th century. But Amsterdam is not only museums and the past, it is a lively, vibrant metropolis. In the former working-class district of the Jordaan, small boutiques and snug brown cafes now line the streets. Everywhere bicycle bells ring out, of which there are more in this city than inhabitants. Amsterdam does not reveal itself at a single glance. You have to let yourself drift, bridge by bridge, until you find your very own rhythm. A short excursion to the east takes us from the big city straight into the deepest Middle Ages. On the shore of the IJmeer, where the river Vecht flows in, rises the Muiderslot, a perfectly preserved moated castle with 4 massive corner towers, surrounded by a wide moat. Built in the 13th century, this fortress looks like the very embodiment of a knight's castle, complete with drawbridge and battlements. Yet perhaps its most fascinating era was an altogether different one. In the 17th century, the poet P.C. Hooft gathered here the so-called Muiderkring, a select circle of poets, scholars and composers. And so for a while, the defiant stronghold became the intellectual centre of the Golden Age. At the geographical centre of the country lies Utrecht, often called Little Amsterdam. High above everything rises the Dom Tower, at 112 metres, the tallest church tower in the Netherlands, and for centuries the landmark of the city. One peculiarity, however, Utrecht has all to itself: its unique canals. Unlike anywhere else, here they run on 2 levels, with old wharf cellars right at the water's edge that once served as storerooms. Today, cosy cafes and restaurants have settled into these vaults, their terraces lying directly on the water. Right outside the gates of Utrecht, finally, awaits a true fairy tale castle. De Haar Castle is the largest and most magnificent castle in all of the Netherlands. A forest of towers, battlements and turrets, surrounded by a moat and sprawling, artfully laid out gardens. What looks so medieval is in truth astonishingly young. At the end of the 19th century, the wealthy Van Zuylen family had the old ruin rebuilt completely, and at enormous expense. Designed by Pierre Cuypers, the very same architect who also created the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. The result is an opulent dream of stone, its interior filled with treasures from all over the world. The Great Hall, a knight's hall, and a library are just a few of the spectacular rooms. It feels a little as though a fairy tale had come true. Many visitors associate the Netherlands solely with flat, wet polder land. Yet in the east of the country, a completely different world awaits. The Veluwe is the largest continuous natural landscape in the Netherlands, a vast realm of dense forests, open heath, and even drifting sand dunes. At its centre lies the Hoge Veluwe National Park. Here, red deer and wild boar roam through airy woodlands, and in late summer, blooming heather drapes the plains in a violet carpet. But the park holds a real surprise. Deep in its interior lies the Krullenmuller Museum, which possesses the world's second largest Van Gogh collection, and a sprawling sculpture garden in which famous works of art stand among the trees. Right next door adjoins the Veluwe National Park, the oldest in the country. Its gentle hills offer something one hardly expects in the Netherlands: sweeping views over a sea of heath and forest that turns warm gold and rust in autumn. An impressive example of Dutch engineering can be seen at the Veluwe Aqueduct. Instead of building a bridge over the water, the Dutch opted for an unusual solution. Here, cars drive beneath the water, while boats pass overhead. It demonstrates strikingly how the Netherlands have lived with the water, and controlled it, for centuries. In a country where large parts lie below sea level, ingenious hydraulic structures like this are indispensable. The aqueduct is thus not only a technical masterpiece, but also a symbol of the Dutch people's constant struggle and close cooperation with the water. It is this mixture of vastness, unexpected wildlife and ingenuity that makes the Veluwe one of the most beautiful natural experiences in the whole country. Further north lies a village so enchanted that one can scarcely believe it is real. In Giethoorn's historic core, there is not a single road. Instead, small canals wind between the thatched houses, each of which sits on its own tiny island, reachable only by a dainty little wooden bridge. Whoever comes here glides silently by boat through the waterways, past well-tended gardens and beneath countless bridges. Not for nothing does the place bear the nickname Venice of the North. Especially outside the high season, on a quiet morning when the mist settles over the water, Giethoorn possesses an almost unreal stillness. In the far northeast, just short of the German border, we come upon one of the country's most unusual structures. Seen from above, the Bourtange Fortress is a perfect star. 5 symmetrical bastions, ringed by star-shaped moats, a masterpiece of 16th century fortress design. And here, now, our circle closes. Do you still remember William of Orange from distant Delft? It was this very man who once commissioned the building of Bourtange to secure the vital overland route through the marshes during the 80 Years' War against Spain. For a long time, the complex fell into ruin, but today it has been restored down to the last detail and is even inhabited. At the end of our journey, the last word belongs to the sea. Along the entire north coast stretches the Wadden Sea, the largest continuous tidal flat area in the world, and a UNESCO World Heritage Site of global significance. Twice a day, the North Sea withdraws far here, laying bare an endless, glistening seabed, a vast buffet for millions of migratory birds that stop here to rest year after year. Offshore lie the West Frisian Islands, each with its own character. Lively Texel beckons with broad beaches and resting seals. Wooded Terschelling is wilder and lonelier. And dreamy Ameland captivates with kilometre-long beaches on which you often will not meet a single soul for miles. Here, at the edge of the country, the world seems to stand still for a moment. One very special tradition also draws many visitors to this coast: mudflat walking. At low tide, you set out on foot across the exposed seabed from island to island, the soft silt between your toes, the wide sky above you, and nothing but the calling of the birds in your ears. It is an almost meditative experience, and perhaps the most direct way to feel, on your own body, this country's intimate bond with the sea. And so our journey ends where the whole country began, at the water. What the Netherlands teach you, if you follow them long enough, is that here beauty is rarely given. It is built, drained, wrested from the flat black soil, constructed over centuries of quiet perseverance. The windmill, the canal house, the tulip field, the star-shaped sconce lying in its marsh at the edge of the land. All of it is the work of a people who learned early that the land would not look after itself. Thank you for watching. If today's journey has left you wanting more, do leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss what comes next. Until next time.